You know when you tell your friend that you should start a podcast?
That's what we did.
Hi, my name is Tati.
And my name is Esme.
This is the Soul and Sips podcast.
Come and have a sip with us.
Hello.
Welcome
back.
Back to our OG place. Yes.
Back to your OG.
Yeah.
Because we can.
Because we can.
Yeah. Maybe another one will be my place again. We don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
We'll see.
We like to change it up.
We have to
Sometimes.
spice things up in here. How are you doing, girl?
I'm good. I'm a little bit stressed these days.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like,
overwhelmed.
yeah, things are happening in my life.
Yeah.
Maybe
Things
soon
happen.
you guys will know
Yeah.
why. But
Things are happening.
things are happening.
And I get it. It's a little overwhelming.
Yeah, just
But
there's
it's
a lot of changes at the same time.
There's a lot going on, but it's good things
It's
going
good things. I'm happy.
on. Yeah, I'm happy.
What
for
about you?
I'm great. Living my life. The sun is out.
Yeah, it's really nice. The
Yeah,
weather.
today when we're recording it's 30 degrees, which is like peak summer in the Netherlands.
Yes, and also kind of sad that we're inside, but
Yeah, but this is the thing. I like when it's warm, but this weather for me is like holiday weather. So I'm like, let's go to the pool, let's go to the beach.
Yeah.
But here you cannot just go to a pool. Like you go to a public pool, and especially today it's gonna be full. So that's very annoying.
yeah, it's gonna be busy everywhere.
Yeah, and then you cannot go. I mean, you can go to the beach, but it's like an hour away. I know that's close, but it's also not like a beach of like summer beach. You know what I mean? It's like
I mean, you can just
you
go and lay there.
Yeah.
But the water is cold. The water
Like really
is brown and dirty. And
yeah. So it's not the
not giving
vacation vibe that I
that you deserve.
that you deserve exactly.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
so yeah.
But
So-
I still feel guilty, like being inside.
Yeah, sometimes I have that. There was like a few weeks ago, like a week ago, that it was really warm that day too, and really sunny. But I was like, oh, I have planned to like clean my apartment today, like really deep clean. So I was like, I feel sorry, like I feel like bad to stay. But I'm like, I really need to do these things.
Yeah, true. Yeah, very true.
So yeah, but
Yeah.
other than that, it's great. What are we drinking today?
The sip of the day. I think it's just a soda. It's called Hip Pop. It's pink
Yeah.
grapefruit, and it says lightly sparkling, high fiber, and fizzing with live cultures. Wow.
I know, I don't.
And it says there's real fruit and no sweeteners.
Yeah.
So
Proper good pop, lightly sparkling with real zesty pink.
grapefruit juice.
I don't know, it's new. The thing is cute.
And it also says, "Who wants fake when you can get real?"
Hey, the copyright of this soda was fun, but wait,
Yes.
let me see, like have some ASMR.
I like it. I already took a sip. I like grapefruit. It's not that strong, actually.
No. You know, I didn't like grapefruit because I bought it one time thinking it was an orange. And
yeah.
you know, when you have that thought of like,
What it is, and then
Yes.
it's something else.
yes, and you're
Yeah.
like, yeah. So I was like,
Yeah.
what kind of orange is this? It was not an orange, so.
But I don't know, I really like it because it's a bit more sour or something.
Yeah,
But it's
it's
good.
nice. Refreshing. Perfect for today.
Yes. We needed a refresher.
Yeah, it's been really nice and sunny and warm lately.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, this week was like, bam, summer.
Yeah.
But we have a nice spring.
Yeah. And I also feel like, I don't know, it's just nice to like be out doing things.
Yeah.
And this last week was kind of nice.
Yeah,
Like
we were
went
out doing
for
things.
dinner. We also had a team day with work, so that was nice. Being outside
That's
a lot.
true. But yeah,
But the topic for today is going to be stereotypes.
Wow. Yay.
Because I mean, I think we all deal with stereotypes. I don't even
Yeah.
know how we got to this topic, to be honest.
I don't even know. Yeah.
I think it's just something you encounter in your like day-to-day life, especially when you are a lot around people from other cultures.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of stereotypes attached usually to like certain cultures or things.
Yeah.
So
I think that when you like also even when you travel and you meet other people from other countries, they also have this like a stereotype of you.
yeah.
Just because of where you're from.
Yeah.
And then sometimes I have to say like last year when I was in Bali, and I would say like, oh, where are you from? And I was like, oh, from Colombia. And then they will always be like, oh, but that's so far. How long did it take you to come here? And I was like, no, but I live in the Netherlands. And they're like, ah. Like, that's it. And there was just no more questions. So I was like, okay. Yeah. But
That's
also,
so funny.
I feel it now also in the way that I behave. I'm not like your typical Latina.
No, exactly.
So also I'm like, yeah, but like I needed to adapt to where I move. So yeah, you cannot judge me for where I'm from, even though it is who I am. But
yeah, but also it's
change.
Like even though there are a lot of stereotypes, doesn't mean that if you're from that country you have all of those things.
Yeah, no.
Or that you feel connected to all of those things that are supposed to be, you know.
Yeah, common.
Yeah.
Common in there. Yeah.
Exactly. So what do you think are like the biggest stereotypes for people from Colombia?
Oh, the classic one that about the. Ooh, I don't know if we can mention this. Like, actually say it like.
Oh.
I'm gonna put this. That. The magic white powder.
Yeah, I think we can say it like that.
Yeah, because I don't know if we're like actually you're allowed to say that out loud. I actually don't know, have no clue, but I'm just gonna put it somewhere in the screen. And if you're listening, it is the magic white powder from Colombia. So I think you.
I think everybody has an idea.
Will know what is it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the biggest.
But what kind of thing do people think then about you being from Colombia? Like, what do you think?
I also
they think
don't
that
know.
You are related to that or something?
I don't. That's what pisses me off all the time because I'm like, I'm from Colombia, and they're like, oh, Pablo Escobar, and I'm like,
I guess.
And it's also like he was already like even dead, I think so, when I was born. So I'm like,
you have nothing to do with any of that. Yeah.
Yes, I know of it, of course, because I've seen a bunch of telenovelas and like history and all that, but I'm like, what? Like, it really has nothing to do. Like, that's the biggest one that they told me. And I remember, like an old friend, one time we were on a holiday with them, and then he said to me, he was like, oh, but you've tried it, right? And I was like, no, I haven't tried that. And he was like, but you're from Colombia. And I'm like,
so?
Why? So? I was like, why? Like, that has nothing to do. Why does it like mean that I'm from Colombia? I've tried. I was like, do you actually know that, yes, Colombia makes them because we have the plant, but all that is just to export it somewhere else.
Here.
Yes, here, or the States is the biggest market of that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, why would you assume that I have tried? I'm like, back then I think I was like, of course younger. I think I was like just like 25 or 24, and I'm like, I'm at 20. Imagine I left Colombia when I was 18. Do you mean that I was younger than 18 trying that? I'm like, in which brain?
In what world?
In what world does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I was so angry at that. And I mean, I don't consider that person my friend anymore. Like, it's so. Why would you assume that? It just really, really pissed me off.
Yeah,
like
I can imagine.
And the people just will say that to you and assume that you
are,
I don't know, a drug addict just because you come from a country that like produces that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hated that. But that's one. Honestly, nobody has said that, only that person, which also annoying that he was like, he knew me and then he even said that.
Yeah.
Knowing me that also I don't take drugs, I don't do anything.
Things, no.
I don't even smoke.
No, exactly.
And that like would assume that was really annoying, but that's one of the biggest ones.
Yeah.
What about you? What is the typical Dutch stereotype?
Well, I mean there are of course a lot, but I think the one that annoys me the most when people say it is like assuming things like with money, because Dutch people can be very much on their money and like very tied with money. And I really don't like that, because I don't want to be seen like that.
Like frugal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like not wanting to spend money, or like wanting to count every single cent, or like I am very against that. That is not how I was raised.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just I just don't like it. And that's also, I think we even mentioned it in some of the episodes. Where, for example, it's this stereotype that Dutch men like wouldn't pay for the first date, for example. But like, it's not that we were taught that men have to pay the first date, but I just like know that my brothers would probably do that, because we were raised in a way that like not everything is about money, or how much money you have, or how much you're sitting on your money. And I can get so annoyed with people wanting to split the bill like perfectly, and even though that's what they call like, I don't know, Dutch split, or let's go Dutch.
Yeah, let's go Dutch when you go and like
pay for your own things,
something, you're like, oh, let's
something.
go Dutch, and that means just split it. Yeah.
I mean, yes, we split.
Yeah, we split, but I don't know, like sometimes, for example, before we record the podcast, sometimes we have like brunch and we eat something. And like, I also don't expect you to like get me a ticket for €2, but also when you go to my place, I also won't, it's like, I won't even, it doesn't even cross my mind.
No,
unless we do like a big groceries together, then yes.
Yeah.
But I don't expect, and also like, again, like if you send me a like, it's like a ticket, we mentioned that before, then it's like, oh, that's fine for me, but I also wouldn't expect that.
No.
You know?
It really depends on all the circumstances.
Yeah.
Like, you know, if, for example, on a day like this, that was like sometimes when we have brunch, then I just ask you, like, walk past Albert Heijn and grab this one thing or that other thing, and then the rest I have at home or whatever. And you know, I also really like hosting, but at some point, if you host a lot, then it becomes a lot.
Yeah,
you know, for a lot of different people, and those people don't know, but we are hosting a lot.
Yeah.
And then at some point, I'm like, okay, guys, please like bring some things, or like it's not even about the money, but like just, you know,
it also just like. It just will make sense for, like, I think last year we did like a big barbecue.
Yeah.
And then you also like, we split that, all that.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is completely fine, because if like we were buying meat and all that if one only person buys the whole thing, like that's a lot. And then we all eating, so it does make sense in my brain.
Then it would just be such a big expense for us that I don't know if we can do that a lot of times, you know.
Yeah.
Then it would maybe be once a year or something.
Yeah.
If we had to do all of that ourselves.
Yeah.
But I really like hosting, and I really want people to feel welcome here, and I want you to, you know, just go into the fridge and see what you can find and just grab whatever you want. That's like, I'm not gonna send you a ticket for a €1 Coke.
I'm like, that is me.
Yeah, but I want to be that type of person that, you know, because that's how I was raised. That's how my parents always were.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Like, I think you also have this thing of, like, Dutch people not being welcome, or for example, Dutch people like sending you out of their house before they have food.
Oh,
my
I heard
parents
about that.
were never like that. No.
Yeah, I heard about that.
No, I think that's so weird.
Yeah.
Like, if you have like a friend over and the parent can only come pick them up at 8 p.m., like they join for dinner.
Yes.
You know? Yeah. And my, like, sometimes at friends or something, they would be like, oh yeah, you have to go home because like we don't have food for you. I think that's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's crazy.
I literally this week I saw like a TikTok of like saying like, oh, tell me your crazy Dutch story.
Yeah.
And then I was reading the comments, and it really made me angry, because it's this kind of stereotypes that actually it does happen.
It does happen.
It does happen.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I don't know if I'm just like
with the wrong
lucky.
people
I just
or the good people, however you want to see it.
I got lucky with my Dutch friends, because I do have a lot of Dutch friends, and they're never like this.
No.
Never.
No.
Like, they are the nicest, welcoming, like, we figured it out, like, it's fine. Like, I never felt like they were pushing me away, like, never. So, it's like, I was very surprised. I'm like, oh, for me, it's really sad if you move here and you meet people and they do treat you like that. It's really annoying, because then you don't feel welcome.
Yeah, which I completely understand.
Yeah.
that you don't feel welcome then.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry for that, but like that's not how all the Dutch people are. Please know that.
Yeah.
You encountered the wrong people. There are good ones out there.
There's good ones. I feel it also because we always talk about like certain things and like, oh, we say Dutch people and Latin people, but I feel that every time we talk about it, it's kind of like, you know, when you say like all men are like this.
Yeah.
We know it's not all men. We're still gonna complain about.
Yeah, exactly.
But we know it's not all of them.
Yeah.
And this is a very perfect example. I know that Dutch people sometimes can be frugal and sometimes can be. In Spanish, we'll say like tacaño, which means like a little frugal, like kicking you out for eat, like stuff like that.
Yeah.
But not everybody's like this.
No.
Yeah.
And I think that's really funny, but I think that like this is the reason why we have the podcast.
Yeah.
Maybe it sounds weird, but like yes, there are all these like stereotypes, all these things about like different cultures, but in the end it's about a person and how they grew up or like what the background of that specific person is. It's not, you cannot generalize cultures like people like do, for example, with stereotypes.
Yeah. Like,
stereotyping.
There are general things that it does make sense when people grow in certain environments. They're like the same.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Like, for example, we said like, I know I grew up in like a house or like a place where there's always music. People are loud. It's always crazy. And then Javi is also like that. And you were because it was a big family, you kind of like that.
Yeah.
But now you have and you're like alone by yourself and you enjoy, at least for me, I enjoy my quiet pace.
Yeah.
Like even now when I go to my parents, like I have fun and I enjoy them and all that. But when I come back home, it really feels like, whew, like, oh, so quiet.
Yeah.
Like sometimes it's really overwhelming.
Yeah.
But then it's just like, I grew up with it. I was used to back then.
Yeah.
But I'm not anymore.
No, but it's the same for me. Like, but I think exactly, it's just like the way that you have organized your life, like more recently.
Yeah.
And just to like together with Javi, like we, I don't know, like sometimes read or like have no music, or I sometimes have no music, and I just like it. I just like the quiet. And then when I have to be like for a longer time with my family, I'm like, there's always somebody that wants to have, or that has something, or that has music, or like when I was growing up, there will always be music, like from every room there will be almost different type of music. So my dad would have his salsa, and then my brother would have his whatever, his rap music, and the other one would have this, and you just walk through the house like,
I get it.
like one speaker and one speaker. And,
and you get used to.
Yeah, you get
when
used
you're there,
to it.
you're used to, and it doesn't bother you. But then once you leave that, and you
create your own life,
and then you come back to that, you're like, we're like, how did I handle that for so long? For me, it's also like crazy to think that, like even like with your parents, you know them, you love them, but it really also takes a lot of like, not mental power, but like energy to be with them too. So and I think it's completely normal, and I find that very fascinating how you grow with them, but then once you leave, you realize that you're like, oh, I like my life like a lot.
And also just like how it kind of makes you realize how you build up your life, because you don't think about that on a daily basis, right? But then if you go back, you're like, this is how I do things differently now.
And for me also, like when I'm by myself, I only have to think about me.
Yeah, exactly.
In my opinion.
That's what I mean.
And when you have like a partner or like your family, you start to thinking what they want, what do they want, like about them and not you. And it's just really, it just takes energy.
Yeah.
But I mean, now I'm getting like used to now with my parents. I know mentally that for me that's not like a holiday or vacation, even though I rest. It's like, oh, this is my time, I'm with them, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But then I come back home and I'm alone. I'm like, yay!
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and also like just coming back here in the Netherlands, that makes me feel home.
Yeah.
Like at least for me, because it's my home. But it's your home. Yeah.
Exactly. Another one, I think, with the Dutch thing is that people, like the Dutch people, don't use any spices in their food. Like the food thing also, like it's not that it annoys me, but it is like actually it does annoy me a little bit.
Doesn't annoy me. Well.
Yeah. Because like okay, yes. The normal Dutch dinner, I would say, is like potatoes, some type of meat, and some type of vegetable.
Yeah.
That was not like normal for me when I was a kid. I always had rice and chicken and like beans,
Yeah.
like green beans or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's a very small thing, but that did make me feel, or like made me feel like different from a young age from my like very Dutch friends.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was normal to have rice every day, but that was not.
Apparently it's not.
And it doesn't mean that we never had potatoes. Like yes, we also had potatoes sometimes, but just like not every day.
Yeah.
And yeah, I
And
don't
that's
know.
not
I think
normal thing here. Well, it like it is, but it depends. The family.
yeah, and I also think that there's a lot of variety in what you can eat here.
Yeah.
So
Like-
because you have all these cultures like Surinamese and
Yes.
Indonesian and Chinese, like you can find Italian, you can
Everything.
find all the type of food that you
Yeah.
yeah, that's from different places around the world, but also it's quite normal to like make pasta at home or like try to make Asian dishes at home and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah. Like I think that's one of the things that I like from here. Like Amsterdam, especially Amsterdam, it really like showed me food of different places. Like I don't even think I ate that much of like traditional Dutch food, but I've ate so many, like for example Asian, Surinamese, Indonesian food that I would have never tried if I like was in Colombia. Like when we went to, I know like we went to London, but you can also find them here. We went to London for the first time. That was the first time I had dim sum.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my god, this is the most delicious thing ever.
Yeah.
Or here, here was the first time that I actually tried ramen.
Oh yeah.
Loved it. And like when I was like go to my parents, I'm like, you have to try it. This is so good.
Yes.
Or like I do this like chicken peanut noodles at home, and I love them.
Yeah.
And one time I tried to do it at my parents, and I was like, you have to try it. This is so good. And they were like, yeah. And I'm like, you don't know nothing.
Yeah, but exactly no. And for example, with the dim sum, like I kind of grew up with that.
Yeah.
Because my dad likes Chinese food a lot.
Yeah.
And so, like that's normal food for me as well.
Yeah.
Like okay, we would not eat that like in a normal day of the week, but my parents would basically almost every weekend we would go to Amsterdam to get either Indonesian, either Surinamese or Chinese food.
Yeah.
And like or go out for dim sum, for example, at a Chinese restaurant. And so I understand when people say like Dutch people don't use a lot of spices or like don't have good food.
Yeah.
But
I think
I know where you can find good food.
Yeah, you can find
like
good
ask
food.
me.
you can find good food. And also I didn't grow up with spice. And we talk about this. I didn't have any spice.
Yeah.
And only until I came here I was introduced to different spices.
Yeah.
And then I died and I was like, this is disgusting. But then now I like train myself a little bit. And now I'm eating more spices. Like a few weekends ago I went to this like Chinese supermarket and we bought this like really specific sauce that like you put it and you grate. It's spicy but it gives a lot of flavor to the food too.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is delicious. And now I can handle that spice. But I would have never done that if I didn't live in Colombia because we don't have those kinds of spices. We don't have the spices there. So also like yes, the Dutch food doesn't have spice. But honestly, since I came here I have to be worried about the spice. So
yeah.
You do have
And
a spice.
Obviously, there are only those spices because of colonization.
True.
Like, I don't want to go over the fact that that's the Dutch
true.
people, like, just barging in another country and, like, doing crazy shit, which we
Yeah.
do not stand for.
Yeah, but they brought spices.
We have good food.
We have good food here.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, you can, of course, like, for example, I don't know if I mentioned it before or no, but I was in Austria and I saw this like thing that like the like potatoes, tomatoes, corn, and a bunch of other vegetables were brought from the Americas
Yeah.
when they
You
were
said that.
colonized.
Yeah.
And then I was so surprised. I was like, for example, Italy, they have pizzas and pasta with tomatoes. They didn't even have tomatoes.
But how is that possible?
Like,
is that really true?
Yes, yes, it is. Google it.
So
It
tomatoes were taken from the Americas.
Yeah, and it was like a lot of food came from there because they were not here because they don't have the environments here.
But then what did people eat before that here?
I Googled it because I was like, yes. I asked.
That was your question.
That was my question. I was like, what
Yeah.
do people eat here? They
Yeah.
have nothing. You have like wheat and some vegetables, but not all of them, but wheat.
Like bread.
Yeah.
Well, bread is really good here. Like
Yes,
some things.
some. It depends where you go, of course. But I think bread is really good here.
Like there's two things that you cannot find. Like I couldn't find when I was studying in Asia.
Yeah.
Cheese and bread.
Yeah.
Like you can find cheese, but like plastic cheese, like cheddar.
Yeah.
Like that's not cheese.
Yeah.
Cheddar is not cheese, people.
I don't know.
Like really Dutch, like Gouda cheese.
Yeah.
I mean, or like all the types of different cheeses that we have here.
no,
Like
the
cheese,
cheese
Dutch
is good.
cheese is good, and bread as well. Like in France,
Yeah.
of course, you can also find really good bread.
Yeah. Yeah.
But sometimes I see or in America or in the States, bread there is like those square things. Like I don't know, it looks plastic. It's not good.
No.
You don't have good bread.
No, the bread there is not good. I can say that I live there. It's not good. The bread is not. It's really, like I ate like there's a good bread, but I know it's so sweet, and I just feel really guilty about eating. But it's also so good. But it's just because it's like sugar.
But I don't
It's
like
not
sugar,
proper bread.
Like sugary
Yeah,
bread is so weird.
It's not the same. Like, and it's not like here when you buy like a loaf and it's like crunchy and it's nice.
Oh,
You cannot find that there.
and warm.
Like there is no bakeries like. This is like, and maybe also this is a very like talking about stereotypes, of like everything in America food-wise is so processed.
Yeah.
Everything is just about making big quantities and like the low quality possible to sell it. Honestly, and it just like really. I think so because it's so horrible, and I'm like, I don't understand I don't understand how people and. Me, because I live there, I know how is it.
Yeah.
And yes, you can find good things, but then they're more expensive. Like honestly, it's cheaper to go to a McDonald's to get one burger for $1 than actually doing groceries and cooking.
Yeah, I think that's really bad.
Yeah, and it's really bad. And me that I live there, I could see that, and that was just really, really sad because then people that actually don't have the means to buy proper food, and then there's also when like the whole America has this problem with obesity and just diseases and all that.
Yeah.
Because they just don't have good food. They also don't have the infrastructure of like walk, exercise. Like here, you have to walk to places. Here, for example, you have to bike everywhere. There in America, you like wake up, do your thing in your home, car, you go to work, sitting all day, car. Go home. Like it doesn't force you to do that unless you actually do it.
Yeah. You have to like make the decision.
Yeah, you have to make the decision. But also again, let's say for example to go to the gym, you have to go to the car and then go to the gym. You cannot just like let's say walk to the gym or something like that, or bike to the gym. Like I have a gym that is like here like 5 minutes walking. It doesn't work like that. So it's just like also like the stereotypical of like, oh, Americans are lazy, blah, blah. I think it is true in a way, but also I feel that just their kind of society is just
built
on that. Yeah. So you also don't have.
No, and
you
that's
also
fight
it.
That's also like obviously a Dutch stereotype is the cycling.
Yeah.
Like always being on bikes.
That is true.
Because it's true. That one is definitely true. And I didn't really realize that was very special because like we don't use the bike to exercise necessarily. No. We use the bike for transportation to go from one place to another. Yeah. And like so going to work on the bike is like the most normal thing in the world.
Yeah.
Like even the prime minister would like go to work on his bike.
Yeah. Yeah, there is like, if you Google it, Dutch prime minister going to work by bike. You will see the pictures of just him biking to the, I don't know, fancy buildings.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's very normal.
It's because it's so normal here.
Yeah.
But from somebody from our country, you'd be like, what? What is that?
Yeah.
Like, even me, I told sometimes, like, my mom, I was like, oh, like, I just was in a party, and I just came back home. And it was, like, let's say 1 a.m., and she was like, oh, how did you come back? Like, it's still, like, a bus or something. I was like, I just bike. I just bike home at 1 a.m. because, yeah. And she was like, you could never do that in Colombia.
No, I kind of like, I never really realized how weird that is for people from other places.
Yeah. It's
because here you have like obviously the whole culture is built around it. So we have infrastructure, we have biking lanes, like the country is built for that.
Yeah.
Like you can also cycle from one city to another city, for example.
Like you could,
if you want.
You could literally go around the whole country by bike if you want to.
If you want to.
It is possible.
Yeah. Yeah, but obviously when you have bigger because the Netherlands is also very small.
Also that.
I mean, if you have bigger distances, then it becomes also more difficult to have that infrastructure. And
also, remember the Netherlands is flat.
Yes.
So it's also easier to bike.
Yeah. Yeah, imagine having to go up and down.
Oh, that. Like, I'm already, just a tiny little bridge crossing the canal. You know, like, there's a canal, so there is a little bridge. I'm already like,
yeah.
I thought the Netherlands was flat. It's not. But that's just me complaining. It's not it's really flat.
Yeah.
So long time ago I googled like why was that and all that, and it was just like, okay, the country is very tiny, it's very flat, and literally was just easier to bike than like by car or something else. So since like the beginning of the Netherlands, the whole country was built on biking.
Yeah.
Which also helps with the infrastructure. And then, for example, right now in certain countries and cities in Europe are trying to do the same.
Yes. Yeah.
But it's more difficult because they don't have the infrastructure.
No, exactly. Yeah.
Like I've seen people biking in Paris. I'm like, I don't know how they do it. That's mayhem.
And that's also funny, but because Dutch people also travel a lot, and you always, if you see a group of like people biking in another country, then it's like 70% sure that they're Dutch. And that's funny because we also used to do that.
Yeah, that's
so
funny.
I think I biked in Paris, I biked in London multiple times, I biked in Valencia. They have really good biking lanes actually.
Oh, that's nice.
There it's perfect. There you almost have to get a bike.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
because
nice.
there the weather is also nice and stuff.
Oh, that's nice.
But that's such a typical Dutch thing to do on a holiday, to go like for a biking tour or something.
Yeah, I remember meeting a girl from my master's that she was in Colombia, and she said like, oh yeah, I did like this biking tour in Colombia. And I was like,
what? Is that possible?
I was like, how did you bike there? Like, first of all, Colombia's like mountains, high. You're already tired by just walking.
Yeah.
And then it's like, this is the whole city.
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah, it was really fun, like really rough, but it was fun. I was like,
yeah. Well, imagine us in London, like having to bike on the left side,
also that.
and then also no biking lanes.
No.
And like people are just not used to it.
Yeah.
So like the people in the cars, I mean, so they don't really like look around for bikes or anything.
Yeah. I seen, where a place that they try to bike a lot in New York. And I've seen people, like a video like, oh, I'm trying to bike from here to here. Let's see how it goes. And also the cars don't respect the bike lane.
No.
Then there is a bus there, and the bike has to go around, but the cars also doesn't respect that. So it's also here you have the culture of the biking.
Yes.
That they do respect the bike.
Yeah.
Except this morning. Actually, this morning I was crossing the lights.
Yeah.
Like here, like next to the metro, and it was green for me. It was green for the bikes. A police car, just like speed up like in front of me, and I kind of like broke because I wasn't expecting them to cross. Like it was green for me.
Oh my god!
And I was like, so
that's bad.
That's really bad. And I was like,
that's bad.
Whoa! And out of nowhere, a police. Like if it was a normal car, if it was a taxi, the taxis are very annoying. A police car.
Yeah, I also think that like. I always say you kind of have this hierarchy. I'm talking
Yes.
I'm talking mostly about Amsterdam right now because I think
Yeah,
in
that's
other like in smaller towns it might be a little bit different. But in Amsterdam, the bikes are on the top of the hierarchy.
Yeah.
Usually it's the pedestrians because they
Yeah.
are
I
like.
mean, technically it is the
Technically
pedestrians,
it is. Yeah.
but in reality,
In reality, it's the
bikes.
bikes. So if you are walking around in Amsterdam and there's a like a zebra thing,
Yeah.
is that how you say it in English?
Yeah,
I don't
zebra.
know. Then, like, you have to stop because there will be
Yeah,
bikes
there will be
going.
bikes.
Like they have
Yeah.
officially, not officially, but they will take priority over you.
Yeah, yeah. So that's, I think that's the thing when you learn biking in Amsterdam is like when there is a zebra, the bikes should stop.
They should, but nobody does. So
yes,
if you stop,
nobody
it's
does
actually
it.
dangerous.
Yes.
Because people around you are not going to assume that you are stopping.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So I only like because before I wasn't biking that much. I just only know that if I have to cross a bike path, I'm always like letting the bikes pass, and I can wait. It's fine. I'm not in a rush. It's okay. I can wait for a second for the bike to pass. It's fine. But then honestly, the rules shouldn't be like that. But I get it. I get it. I also don't let people pass. Like,
no, the bike is
I
just
get it,
the
yeah.
king. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
and you just learn how to do that here.
Yeah, but some people are very annoyed, like, or some people just walk in a zebra
Yeah.
because it is officially the rules. But
Yeah, yeah. But also people are really annoying. Like, if you ever come to Amsterdam, they say like, oh, remember, don't walk in the red paths because the red are the bike paths. And when you are in a little more touristy areas,
oh, so annoying.
They do, and then there's like a stand in the middle of it, and it's like if I was a evil bad person, I could literally crush on you and in the bike path, and I'm right because you're just walking on my way. It's like you're standing in the middle of a highway.
Exactly.
Would you do that?
Yeah.
No. Like just have some.
Yeah, and the thing is, they don't even look around.
Yeah.
Like at least look
they
around.
They don't even look. But also, I don't understand how they don't look around. Like me coming from Colombia.
Yeah.
Which, if you have ever been in Colombia or any Latin American country, is mayhem. Cars don't respect anything. You have to be aware of your surroundings, of like motorcycles, the taxi, the cars, people. And every time I have to cross any kind of like a street, I'm always looking because you never know where anything will come from. That's me. So when I came here, I was like, okay, I just need to be aware of it too. And some people really don't. They just go and walk in front of the bike, and I'm like, move. You're asking for this.
Yeah. And that's why people from Amsterdam are sometimes like, oh, these tourists.
Yeah. And when you live here, you start doing the same. You're like, oh, tourists. I don't know, just basic advice of traveling around. Just Google it.
Google it. Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Google like basic kind of rules of that city. Like I also do that. I like search of the place that I'm going.
Yeah, just so you can get some context before going.
Because I also don't want to be rude or anything.
No.
Because it is kind of rude if you're walking in front of the bike path.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Okay, shall we go to the dilemma?
Yes.
Okay. So, this is kind of a funny thing. Would you rather be a stereotypical Dutchie? Mm-hmm. So you will be walking around with clogs and you would have blonde hair and blue eyes. And you would also be very strict on money. So all the negative things as well. Or would you rather be a beautiful Colombian person that has a lot of dancing skills?
Yeah.
But also has the negative. Yeah. So you would be like related to any like...
Yeah, you know, like those
white
like
powder things.
Those related to those white powder things. Loud, very dramatic.
Yeah. Because what would you choose?
Well, the thing is like, well, I can just be the Latina and just be like I am, but I am also not like
You're
that.
not like that. Exactly. That's why I thought this would be a funny dilemma
I'm not
for you.
like that. I don't like to be loud. If you know me, you actually know that sometimes I speak very, very soft. Like very, very soft if I'm just like talking with somebody. Or I know how to dance, but if you compare me with like other people from other parts of my country, then it's like I don't know how to dance according to them. And yeah, I don't think I'm very dramatic. I honestly like, well, sometimes depends.
But what would you rather be?
What
Because
would I
like,
rather be? Where would you choose?
I mean, I would rather not be associated with any type of white powder thing.
Exactly, yeah.
But I would like to like
Like-
be able to dance like very well.
Yeah.
I would like to be sometimes maybe a little bit more dramatic. Because why not? Like so so I don't really often share my opinion, and I feel like I could like, and I maybe
Okay,
should.
I see, yeah.
So maybe I would actually choose to be Colombian then. But I also don't know like all the extent of what that would mean, right?
Yeah, sometimes. I love my country, my people, but sometimes. Yeah.
If I had to choose.
Also, like, you know what I learned? That, like, Latinas usually, like, I saw videos of, like, guys made, like, oh, if you got a Latina, they cook so well for you.
And you're like,
And I'm like,
you're like, my man.
my
Cook-
man is
you
cooking.
will have to
I'm
cook
sorry,
for me.
but I'm not cooking. I can cook, but I'm like, but that's not how you're gonna get me.
I just really don't like this, the money thing.
I know. Yeah, I don't like that either.
That's just so unwelcoming. That's not warm. That's very
Yeah.
cold. That's very standoffish.
Yeah, I
just
don't
really,
like that.
I cannot with that.
I don't like the little clocks. That would be so cute. I don't like them, but I just think it's very cute.
I think that's so funny.
It's
like
so
somebody
funny.
actually like asked me once if I have them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And you're like,
girl,
no.
I'm like, no. That's like maybe people like 300 years ago, yes.
Hey, but
like,
I've seen people walking with those.
yeah, but I think that's so weird.
They usually are like a little older though, and they look a little weird.
And they're probably like really farmers, you know.
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
is fine, but I'm not. So.
But I've seen very random. Like I remember seeing like a guy just with chores, like jean chores, a t-shirt, and clothes, and I was like, huh.
Oh, I think that's very weird. But
Yeah,
I
I think
mean,
it's
you
very
also see
weird.
people like without shoes on, which is also
Also
very
that true.
So
I don't know. I feel like I wanna stay with my Colombian.
yeah. See?
Yeah. Because of like the even though I do appreciate and like the Dutch take care of money, there is a limit to it.
Yeah.
You know, I like how, you know, the people save and then save like for holidays and all that. Like, but also what we were talking is just sometimes it's just too much.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna stay with my Latina. Also, it's fun. If you're a little dramatic, it's crazy.
Yes,
it's
this is
fun.
what I was thinking.
Honestly, you'll
At
be
least
like a whole-
something's happening.
Yeah, at least something's happening. Interest, you know? You'll be like, whoa, screaming. It will be a whole telenovela there.
Yeah.
And
Dutch
honestly,
people
those-
are sometimes so like the opposite of expressive. Like they keep everything in
Yeah.
or humble.
Yeah. But it's like also funny again because the people that I know that like Dutch, they're not like that. So it's for me really hard to imagine that. Maybe it's just like I attract, you know, the people that like are nice. So that's why I
Or
have,
like the people that
nice
are like a
friends.
little bit more similar to you or how you think.
Yeah. Yeah, you cannot also always like go towards that.
Yeah, I think so.
I think I would stay with my cute little Latinas, even though, well, I wouldn't like to be associated with anything with like
No.
Pablo Escobar.
No.
Imagine, I know people have the last name Escobar.
Mm.
Not even related to them. Like, honestly, I met so many people with my last name, but we're not even close related. It's just like,
Yeah.
I don't know how it was, but back in the day,
Everybody.
there was like 5 last names and they just throw it to people. I don't know. Like having the same last name doesn't mean you're related in Latin America. Just to keep that clear. So there's people that have the Escobar last name and then they'll like, they have nothing to do with him.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that is actually wrong because I wouldn't like to be I feel I'm already like judged by it, and I don't like it. That's one of the
No,
things I hate the
exactly.
most.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, we can leave that in there.
Yeah.
We can leave that there.
What would you choose?
Yeah.
Would you rather be a Dutchie or Colombian?
Not to being really direct, but like rude direct and like really frugal with money. But also, you know, tall and athletic.
Athletic.
I feel that a lot of Dutch people are pretty athletic.
Oh, that's
But
funny.
I feel it's just because you're biking all the time.
Yeah.
Like even if it's not like a proper sport, you still
Bike.
it is bike.
Yeah.
So you
True.
kind of and you have that on your body. And then Latin, you just have a little spice and fun, and but then you also associate it with like bad things. So
Yeah.
what would you choose? Let us
What
know.
would you choose?
But yeah, that will be it for today.
Yes, exactly.
Remember to like and comment,
Subscribe and share the episode.
you know all the things. And I'll see you next time.
See you.
Doei.
Bye.